here frequently, you know that the Hot Zone is a talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasions.
Sweet land of Labor Day. You want to speak on the issue? I beg you, please. Let's stick on the issue. For our politics. Politicians deliver to their promise. The big government is not a solution to the problem.
Let me say this. I hear somebody saying, well, the country don't get money. Look, every country in this world that God has created on this earth has money. It depends on how the leader is innovative.
Not good judgment. Okay, to be commingling, to be meandering with a man who has recently been found guilty of committing a serious crime, right? You can appreciate him all you want, but it sends the wrong message. That
you can also Joseph, brother Peter, let me talk. Let me talk.
We do not have strong drug laws on our books.
If I gave you my district, what you want to? You want my
motherfuckers will come and tell you to vote for one person when the person get it and they tell you say the person not good. All of them confused.
Yeah, I'm getting younger because we are empowered now. And when you empower, it comes with setting grades.
They come in with their fake smile. All I think and I so fly. They won't use you, confuse you, and mislead you. They will promise when you vote them, they frustrate you. They already say you so go. Don't for your friend, let Rambo. They already say you rebel. Don't for your friends for their choice. Oh, they already say you so go. Don't for your friend, let Rambo.
Tonight, I'm playing host. My name is Derek Yale, and let me check in with my co-host, Mr. David Takbe. Mr. Takbe, welcome to another episode.
So Derek, thank you. It's always good to be on the Hot Zone.
Brother, vote for your future. Mama, vote for your future. What do you want to? If I gave you my future, what you want to?
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for joining us here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. If this is your first time joining us, the Liberia Radio and Television Network, or LRTN for short, is a local media institution right here in Northeast Philadelphia. And we also have our office open for business on Carey Street in Monrovia, Liberia as well. Tonight, the Liberia Radio and Television Network is proud to present episode 11 of season 6 of The Hot Zone. And again, The Hot Zone is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political ideology. And here on The Hot Zone, we discuss issues in Liberia and also in the diaspora. Here, there is no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. And just by way of disclaimer, all of the opinions and positions that will be offered here on this episode is not the official position of the network, but that of the panelists that will be offering them. With that being said, my name is Derek Yale. I will be playing host tonight, and very shortly I will be introducing our panelists for this episode. But before I get into that, let me just make this brief announcement that the Speaker of the House of Representatives is here with us, Mr. Funati, in the U.S., and the Liberian Association will be hosting a town hall on Liberia's state of affairs with Speaker Funati Kofa, Republic of Liberia, on Sunday, October 6, 2024, at 5 p.m. at the Victory Harvest Fellowship International. So again, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Speaker Funati Kofa, will be here this weekend to have a town hall of Liberia State of Affairs, and this is being hosted by the Liberia Associations of the Pennsylvania. So make sure you join the speaker and LAP there, and also make sure you follow LRT and for a live coverage of this town hall meeting with the speaker of the House of Representatives. And just to give you a heads up on what to expect on this episode, before I try to do that, let me encourage all of you watching us to please make sure you share this program on your individual social media pages, and also make sure you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Make sure you're following Liberia Radio and Television Network, and also LRT Live. We are on all three platforms, so check us out on those platforms. On tonight's episode, we will engage in an open panel discussion after I introduce my panelists. And also, we will be bringing you more panelists on this episode later on. And then we will have a discussion surrounding issues in Liberia. And then we'll talk briefly on the elections here in the US. We know it's a couple of days, I think 38 or 37 days away. So we'll have a brief conversation on that. But before we get into that, let me introduce my panelists for this episode. And while I do so, let me encourage those of you watching us to please, again, continue to share this program on your social media page, and also continue to follow us here on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Mr. Boda, Martin Boda, let me welcome you to episode 11 of season 6 of the House Zone. I see you guys, the strategist. So after you introduce yourself, I want you to talk briefly about that.
Thank you, Derek, for having me. I'm glad to be back on the show and to talk to our people, discuss issues of national concern and global issues. Thank you, and I'm glad to be back.
Thank you. It's good to have you here. Now, do you care to talk to us about these strategists? Because
yes, the fact that I talk issue not just being protecting my political interests, but also talk about other issues that concerns our community, our country, our people, and finding ways and solutions to this make me to be the D strategist. Because we strategize and we talk about facts, discuss issues and outlines, not just based on political biases, but based on the truth and issues that affect lives. And so that's where we're coming from.
Okay, I actually do like that, because I wish you had started all of the episode with the strategist. And also, I learned that you lost your mother, and I would like to extend, for myself and the network, I would like to extend my condolences to you and your family as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I know there's a lot to talk about, but let me start with the town hall meeting for the speaker on this. Of Liberian is living in, and will be coming from other places as well. What do you think about the speaker having a town hall meeting for Liberians to come up and ask him questions as well? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a good thing, but yes, what I want to understand, I don't know the visit that the honorable speaker is here for. What is the intended visit? Is it personal? Is it private? Or is it national issues? But having a town hall meeting with Liberians here, it's somehow counterproductive. What do I mean by that? The issues in Liberia, I think the speaker should be more involved talking to the Liberian people on national issues. We are more of a distractions, especially the diaspora Liberian, in some sense, in some capacity, because some of the things we will talk about, some of the issues, the way we will address the issue, we're not looking at it from the context of the Liberian society. We try to look at it from the context of the United States, and which is a whole different picture that you'll be pinning to the audience or people who will be looking at our program here. You're not going to look at it from the context of your society, the issues that are affecting your society, where it started, and how can we move forward. Because if you look at the way sometimes we approach issues as a Liberian in the United States, try to compare orange and apple, it's kind of don't make sense to me personally, because our society have a lot of issues, and we as people in the diaspora with who have some level of understanding of the Western education, how institutions have been ran, and so forth, need to start to dialogue, to sit and strategize with Liberia. How do we change our society, not just being a talker, but being the worker? Because we do more talking than doing the work, and we just use these occasions to sell our political agenda to go back and exploit our own people. So this is a whole
and,
sustainable.
and staying on that, and just about the speaker visit here to the diaspora, and this is what I do know. You can it's unconfirmed, I should say, that he served as the guest speaker for July 50th inauguration, and just because he's still here, he will be having a town hall meeting in with the lab in Philly this weekend. Now, you mentioned you talked briefly about these people coming out here to talk about
action. We just talked about the timing. They go heavy. Linebackers are downhill. Both Blitz and Levante Davis.
Who on the show watching game or something? Is that Java game? We are. You come on the show with your TV on loud, bro.
Sorry. Sorry. Well, laughing.
Dennis. Okay, well, anyways, good evening, Mr. Jai Winking. Thank you guys for joining us. Wait, I'm just seeing Bishop attached to your name. You're Bishop?
Yeah. Tell about it. I picked on something. Dennis, you're Bishop?
For today, I went out of Bishop. I came for him today.
Dennis, please don't be Bishop a day, please, brother.
We gotta make the show fun small now.
Let me come to you. Welcome to the show, and welcome to episode 11 of season.
Thank you.
I call you Bishop Dennis. I'm sorry because you say you just
okay. I will see the need for that.
I will call you Bishop Dennis. Anyways, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jai Winking. Let me say Bishop Jai Winking. Welcome to. I guess everybody on the show will call him Bishop now. Welcome to the show, Mr. Wia. You're on mute.
I think it is the Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were. Mr. Buddha and myself was just started the conversation. Actually, we're talking about the speaker is here in the diaspora in the US, and he will be having a town hall with Liberian in this week. It's hosted by the Liberian Association in Pennsylvania. So we're just talking briefly about it. What do you think the president showing up for town hall? Can you hear me?
You're a little bit low, okay?
Can you guys hear me?
I mean, you're going in and out on my end here.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yes,
yes.
It's better now.
All right, good. All right. We were talking about the Speaker of the House of Representatives in Liberia here on the weekend to have a town hall meeting with Liberians, and that's being hosted by the Liberian Association in Pennsylvania. I was just asking Mr. Buddha, what do you think about the Speaker exalting himself so that the Liberians can ask him questions on what they think about the state of affairs in Liberia? So if you guys would like, I will give you guys the opportunity to give us your take on that. Let's start with you, Mr. Darwin.
Okay, thank you, Derek. I'm wondering if he has ever visited any places in Liberia, specifically in the Monrovia area or his own county. Which of the counties he ever visited to talk to the people of Liberia? Why it is good to talk to the people here in the United States, I believe those on the ground are those the speaker is supposed to be visiting and see how things are going. Because I received information recently from Liberia, even though the speaker is not responsible about the recruitment process of immigration officers and the police, where those responsible demand a lot of money from potential officers. And so I believe that if the speaker had the opportunity or take his time to visit the constituency in the Monrovia area or in the counties, then he will know what is going on in Liberia. So I personally don't have anything against speaking to the people in Liberia, but I haven't seen or I haven't heard our speaker visiting any constituents in Liberia to talk to the people on the ground who are really who they are governing, for whom they are making laws. So I believe that if the speaker were to talk to people on the ground and see what they are doing so far, you'll get a better feedback than from those of us in the United States.
Thank you very much, Bishop Dennis. Let me
just for the day. I thought Bishop Cephas was gonna be here today, so me he can get on it, boy. Okay. Oh, but I mean, on a serious note, though, I think, you know, when you think about the people in higher positions in Liberia, I think it's incumbent on those people to come to America to talk to the diaspora, because Liberia needs investment. There's no money in that country, and the only people that are investing are people who are exploiting the country. So they need to figure out a way to talk to, you know, the Liberians abroad, which is the economic hub for Liberia, for investment in Liberia. They need to have some sort of probably special office to recruit people to invest in that country, because I mean, outside of, you know, foreigners investing in the country, like the people in Liberia themselves don't have the money or the talent to rebuild that country. So they need to recruit us. I applaud him for that, and there needs to be more of that. Especially if they're not just coming here to be, you know, bluffing and that kind of stuff. If they're really serious about moving the people back from the diaspora and investing in the country, I mean, I applaud that. We cannot have any development in that country if Liberians themselves are not involved. I mean, we have to be involved. So I applaud him for that.
Thank you. Yeah, let me start with you and ask you this: what do you think about Mr. Darwin? We asked point to about the speaker should first meet with people in Liberia and other counties, and especially his constituents, before coming all the way out here to speak to them. What do you think of this position?
I don't think that's it's a matter of, you know, him speaking to them or speaking here. I think I mean, it's a good point, but I mean, right now, Liberians abroad are sending home, I think, $500 million every year. That's a lot of money. And if they were investing that money if they were living in Liberia, investing that money, I think they will be able to jumpstart the economy. Look, the Liberians there in Liberia, they know what's going on. We on this side, we hear news from Facebook. We don't really hear from, you know, firsthand account. We're hearing it from different gossip, different chat rooms and all these things. So it's good when these people come and talk to us face to face, you know. But if he's not talking to the Liberians in Liberia, he should. But it is imperative that he speaks. The people in power speak to the Liberians here, because we need to be, you know, part of that transition. You know, we need to have firsthand account of what's going on in the country. So I don't disagree with Mr. Weah, but I think it's important that he speaks to us here in the diaspora.
Thank you, Mr. Bola. Before I come to you, let me recognize the presence of Sherry. Sherry, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And let me say hi to the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Always good to have you, Mr. Boda. I saw you raise your hand. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't raise my hand. I was just. Yeah.
Okay, I guess let's go to Mr. Jawin Kinwea. Go ahead.
Okay, yes. Look, here's what I want to say. For our politicians living Liberia, talking to Liberians in the United States, it is not a new thing. But what is lacking or has been lacking is that there is no blueprint as to what they are doing or what they want. What is the target goal? That's why it is very important to talk to the people on the ground, to know the need of the people. I know people come here to find money, but that is not sufficient. Just finding money. What is the objective? What are you doing? In the first year as a speaker, I don't know how many months they have been there now. What have they done? So the same way it is done here in the United States, I'm not making comparison, but you see the representative senators visiting their constituencies to make sure what the people need. Coming here to the United States to talk to us, it is good, but you need to talk to those on the ground to see what is the need, because what is happening in Liberia is we need trainings. As I said earlier, there is a recruitment exercise that is going on in Liberia, I think for immigration and the police, and those who are responsible are charging huge money from applicants. And this is a fact. That is the process that is going on. So again, we can't keep doing the same thing and thinking that things will be right. This government that I prefer, when everybody drop out, because I didn't want that person, we had to come to power. I mean, there's something new. But from what I'm following up, from the time it took power, I haven't seen, there is no timeline for everything. There is no goal that like within this time period they will get to this, they are grappling everything at the same time, which everybody's been doing. That is the wrong way to do it. Yes, it is good to come here to join people applause you, because when he goes back, he's from America. It doesn't matter. I know he came with people, they brought money, they brought a lot of stuff, per dime, all the kind of stuff here. And so that's my point, because it has been going on over and over. That's my point. It has not changed. We need to change what has been happening. It should not be continuing that, this is our time to travel, to use this taxpayer money to do this. Meeting Liberia, no problem. But what is the objective? What are they doing? What is the target? In their first year, what is the projection for the year under review? And what have they achieved? What is obstructing what they are doing now that they intend to do? That's my point.
Thank you. And let me stay with you, and I will reference Mr. Dennis' point that one of the objectives here, he hoped that it would be for them to speak to the Liberian here, because he said, according to him, that the diaspora Liberia is an economic hub, so he would hope that more of these cases happen, more of these town halls meetings happen. So what do you think about that, as far as your comments about the goal and objective?
Who talking to me, Derek?
Mr. Weir.
You are very low a little bit. You can repeat that again.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Okay, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, I was referencing what Mr. Dennis said earlier about their goal and objective here. He said he hope that it will be to speak to the Liberian here, given that the diaspora is an economic hub for Liberia. So you will hope that more of these visits, and more of these town hall meetings happen, so that these conversations can be held. What is your position on that, especially where you say that it's been happening for years and you don't understand the goal and objective of doing that? What do you think about Mr. Dennis' comments?
I don't Like I said before, I don't against any of our leaders to come here to meet the Liberians here, but what from my experience, it has been like a photo up all the time. They come here, take pictures with Liberians or take pictures with other people, even including government officials in the United States, or even if they were to visit any how they call it any senator whatsoever, it's a big news. Liberians, I don't know what is wrong with if somebody even came and met with Joe Biden, what does it mean in the first place? That's my point. Coming here meeting people is not anything, but what is the outcome? What is the outcome? I don't know why he's drinking, but by now we should have known what have done so far and what is the obstacle.
Thank you. Let's hear.
That he needs to visit the constituents or the constituency in Liberia to talk to the people too, because they are the one on the ground. They are the one feeling the pinch. Because we ourselves helping, as Mr. Dennis said, every month we send money to Liberia. That is not enough. But if there is a framework that people can help, it will be better. It's not enough to just come and talk to us. What is the framework of what are they doing? Which structure they put in place to attract investment? Not recruiting only Liberian to put in government. No, that is not the point, because it has been happening too.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from you now, Mr. Sheriff. The Speaker of the House of Representatives will be here this weekend to speak with Liberian in the diaspora, and this event will be hosted by the Liberian Association of Pennsylvania. We're asking, he's here to speak to take questions on the state of affairs in Liberia. What do you think about his visit? What do you think about that town hall meeting?
Thank you. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think it's a brilliant move on the part of Yola to invite the second and most powerful man in our government. I think it's very important. There are some key reasons that we want to outline here. As you may be aware, as stated by the previous speaker, I think the Honorable Mr. Rare or so, someone stated that Liberia contribute, especially Liberians in the diaspora, we contribute a lot to Liberia in terms of, remittance and etc. to Liberia. And not only the remittance, but when you look at the peace and security of Liberia and the stability of Liberia, those of us in the diaspora, we contribute a lot, and we play a very integral part of what is happening in Liberia, whether it be a governance, the economy, security, and etc. So I see that this is an important step, especially by the Honorable Speaker, where he will be able to come here to the United States and brief Liberians or have a kind of interaction. I think what he's trying to do is to, reassure Liberians that are in the diaspora that indeed we are a very important part of nation building, and that there is a need for us to, kind of contribute and also to understand what is happening in the country, whether be it from the political angle, from the social angle, or from the economic angle. So I think it's very important. This also adds value, and it also, to some extent, as some level of one would say some level of ingredients, so to speak, to the kind of love that Liberians here, always have for the motherland. Because remember, at the end of the day, I don't care how long you stay here, the first place you ever think about is back home. And all of us are really, thinking about what is happening back home, whether it be politically, socially, or whatever way. So when you see your leaders coming back, to speak to you, it gives you that particular assurance. It reassures you that indeed you are not just another Liberian that have left, from Liberia in search of opportunity, but also that you are a Liberian that, that the people back home or the government is also thinking about you and understand and know your importance. So I think it's very important, and we should not take away from this, because remember, look, Liberia is in the deplorable stage, especially under this government, in every sector: the human resource, the economy, and etc. etc. And those of us who are here, we have a very important role to play, because the majority of the most unique and professional, one would say, base of Liberians, especially in the diaspora, can be found here in the United States of America. So coming here is almost like coming to reinvigorate that particular energy. That look, Liberians that are in the United States of America, you are not forgotten. You are playing a pivotal role, and there is a need for you to, step up your game, step up your effort, and see what you can do to better Liberia. So I think it's something that we must commend. But like as previous speaker also said, this is not the first time, and this will not be the last time. But what we are encouraging the government, especially maybe people that are in the house, look, if the house will be better, the government will be better. What I mean, holistically, whether it be the executive or the judiciary. So what we want to see is not just ministers leaving from here. It's not just maybe deputy ministers leaving from here. But what we want to see is, we want to see these representatives and senators taking professional Liberians from the United States and allowing them to work in their various offices. Like, for example, somebody here in the United States who is very, let's say, rich in terms of the knowledge in human resource development can work in the office of some of these lawmakers. It is possible. Liberians from the diaspora can go back home and contribute even from the level of their offices, like maybe human resource officer, etc., etc. So I believe that when these people are incorporating Liberians in their various offices, it helps to give some level of meaning and some level of responsibility to the way they run their offices. Because you will be surprised to learn on this. You will be surprised to note that a lawmaker in his office don't even have a political officer that will be able to make sound decision. Maybe a political officer will be, I'm sorry to say, without no denigration, without not denigrating anybody, a political officer will be maybe a girlfriend brother. So what value that man has to add to that particular office? But if you are taking Liberians from the diaspora, who over the period that are well grounded, even from Liberia or in other area, I believe it will add some value to the governance system, like the speaker did with, some former, let's say, key officials in the government. When you look in the speaker's office, you have Kanyo Bagbala, you have Man Messi Kaba, and etc., etc. So that is a value that you are adding to governance. So, I encourage that, but we want to see more of that and want to see more of them, including, diaspora Liberians in their offices. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sherry. I actually want to stay with you, and I'll give you one more, another minute to address this question. And I'll further post Mr. Jab when we appoint. As to the speaker being here and other government officials coming here, Mr. Jawinkin said, and this is facts, this has been happening before. This has been happening over the years. We get government officials coming here, speaking to the Liberian, and I think one of his concerns, well, how does it benefit the Liberian people? And more besides to what you said, don't you think there are other alternatives for government officials to inform Liberians about the affairs of the government? For example, we have an embassy here in the U.S. for an example, and also, what if the speaker look into like improving the website of the legislature so that Liberians can go on there, the other country do, and have up-to-date information on what the House of Representatives is doing. That is something the speaker can look into. Let's not forget that, and given the fact that he's a government official, this trip is being paid for by taxpayer money. So instead of cutting, they will use that money elsewhere. What if they look into developing the website in a way that Liberia or South Liberia can have up-to-date information on the affairs of the government? What do you think about that? Like finding other alternatives instead of coming here where it's costing like Brentwood, and this happening almost every year. What do you think about that, Mr. Sherry?
Yeah, I do agree, but in the same vein, I think it's also important with their physical representation. I do agree with him, and it's appalling. It's very, very much appalling to see, especially people, one would say, in the first branch of government, the most powerful branch of government, that today you cannot even access a credible, information site. Let me just put it this way. I don't want to make it too big, but an information site. For example, Look at how people are even voting in Liberia, 1847 country. Yay, nay, oh, hey. Look, we need to be serious around here. But I think it's also important when they are here, where we can be able to interact with them, where we can be able to confront them with the questions, where we can hear from them, where we can be able to, one would say, be able to impose on them some of the things that they are supposed to do. Because remember now, when these people are here and we are speaking to them, what I mean, face to face, look, your word is very important, especially when you meet somebody and happen to speak with them. And that's the reason why we are encouraging all Liberians to go down there. If it is not even the YOLA program, but after the YOLA program, can we organize ourselves? Invite the honorable speaker, maybe to a town hall or some kind of palaver hot meeting. And let's put some of these brilliant ideas, like the honorable Mr. Ray have rightly said, put some of these brilliant ideas before him. That look, Mr. Speaker, for example, we want to have information. I mean, to our fingertip. We live in a modern world. We don't want to call somebody and somebody can't answer the phone. We want a website where we know, for example, what are the bills that you have passed. How can we Liberians in the diaspora contribute through, just writing? Some of us want to submit some bills, for example, bill to protect diaspora businesses in Liberia. So how do we do that? If we have a functional information sector, especially from the first branch of government, that is the legislator, I believe that there are some Liberians, they can achieve a lot through this credible, website. But again, it is not bad to have too much meat, in the food. He coming is also another, gain for us, where we can interact with him, have this physical interaction where he will speak to us and we can hold him by his word. So, I agree with him that yes, he's coming, he should have created this, that. I'm not opposed to that, but I also do believe it's also another opportunity too. You can use one stone to kill 3 or 4 or 5 different birds, depending on where you are standing from, your vantage point.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. And I'll come back to you, Mr. Boda, if you guys have anything to add, and then if not, I'll introduce.
Let me just say this. Look,
go ahead, Mr. Dennis.
Whether we believe this or not, or we want to believe it, Liberia is considered America's 51st state. All the power changes that are taking place in Liberia has originated from the United States. If you want to have any type of influence in Liberia, the diaspora is where you have to go. And right now, the current state of affairs in Liberia is simple. Liberia is broke. Liberia don't have money. And if the Liberians themselves can't invest in their own economy, who do you expect to come? If you got your own house, you're not fixing it up yourself, you expect the next door neighbor to come in your house and fix it? It's not possible. So it's imperative that, these leaders come to the United States when they can. Like I said earlier, if it's not for showboating, because most of the time when they come here, it is for showboating. But if they're coming and they, producing something of substance, and if it can have an impact, and who better to make it happen? And the Speaker of the House, the President, those two should be the biggest sales people for Liberia. Come home, the door is open. We need your investment. We need to hear these things from these people. If not, it's no different from you talking to some relative, so far away that you never even get to see the person. You don't really develop that sort of close relationship with that person. But we need to see them. We need to see them often. We need to see them, and we do need to go back home as well. But either way, one way or the other, the speaker will lose his job. There will be another speaker for Liberia that would have probably lived in America at some point in his life too. That's the track record. Fortunately or unfortunately, that's the track record. These people all lived here. They all go back home and they get jobs, and then they some of them fail miserably, some of them succeed. But we do need to hear from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda and Mr. Jai Winkin. If you guys have anything to add, I'll give you guys the opportunity. If not, Mr. Boda, you're on. Go ahead.
For me personally, like I said earlier on the onset, I don't know the speaker here to visit the Eula, the speaker is not thinking about engaging Liberian in the diaspora for his office. He's here on the invitation of Eula. So it's a good thing he's going to come and answer one or two questions here, say what he wants to say, and facade here, and give applause here and there, make promises here and there. We hear that many times. But I think we are diaspora Liberian, as we speak, that we are the engine of the Liberian economy, and we can drive that economy. First and foremost, we have to be responsible to hold ourselves accountable, and being the diaspora that we are, the experience that we have in businesses, in institutions that we work for, and organize ourselves in the first place. So if we as diaspora are not even in the position to have a better institution to represent ourselves in the diaspora over the years, how credible are we? And we see that, I said it earlier in my intro, many of the government that have left here, all of the government from the civil crisis to now, the composition of that government have been dominated by people from the diaspora. That's time to be corrected. What did we do? What the changes that we take back home? We lined our pockets, came back to the United States. Yeah, we sending more remittance here and there. It's like you're having a welfare. All we're doing is just sustaining poverty. That's what we're doing as a diaspora, giving handouts, yeah. How much of the handout can we sustain the economy with? So there's a host of things that we as diaspora needs to start doing first. Organize ourselves, engage our government productively, what we want to do, have something on the ground like a bank or something that we can contribute to our economy. We got a lot of resources that we can put into place and counter and take over our economy. How do we do that? We have to have a viable institution in the country. Economically, businesses, banks, consulting firms, those institutions that can change our economy. Our economy lies in the hands of Lebanese, Indians, and so forth. And yet we have professional Liberians sitting here talking around the table. Oh yeah, we need to own our country, we need to do this. But where is the consultancy firm that have for engineering? Where is the consulting, what is the banking institution that is owned by diaspora? What is the marketing firm? What is the journalism firm that educates Liberian journalists that we're talking about? These education are talking about legislative functions in government. Where are they? Where is it? In America we live, we have different consulting firms that engage government, that make them productive. But where do we have that here as a professional Liberian? All we do is people right now, the leadership in the diaspora, the EULA or whatever you call it, all they're trying to do, engage COFA to get us set their own purse so they can go tomorrow. Yeah, I called COFA to the US. He spoke to Liberian people asking questions, get yourself known, and go back and join politics as usual. That's my disappointment with us as diaspora Liberian.
Yeah. For that, let's take Mr. Ojawin.
Yes, sir. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, here is my take. To start with where Mr. Buddha left, EULA has been existing for a long time, and anybody who gets the power, the member gets around it, and at the end, maybe look for a job in the government. But the point I'm really making here is this: it is not wrong for all our speakers to come or any government official to come to talk to Liberians. People talk about investment. You and me cannot fist, for example, electricity infrastructure has private people, rural infrastructure, water infrastructure. You can, from the pay stub depending on paycheck to paycheck, can go do investment. You're providing your own electricity, you're providing your own water. There is nothing in terms of infrastructure. This is my point. If the speaker today came in and said, look, from the time we took power, let's take the city of Monrovia, which is the capital. we see that in order to make sure that there is a water to the entire city of Monrovia, it will cost this amount. This is what the government has, and we want to raise money to get this, to get this. These are my points I'm talking about. It is not that it is not that they will do everything, but they have to know what they want, because that's the only way to help the Liberian people. But a Dennis can go to Monrovia and say, maybe if I'm going to build a factory, then you provide your own electricity, provide your own water. You want to employ 1 or 2 persons to pay them at the same time. At the same time, government officials coming to him before that project takes over, they want cut before they even approve it. These things are still going on. That's what I'm talking about. That's the infrastructure I'm talking about. How far, what is the assessment of the government in terms of water supply to the city of Monrovia, electricity? How far are we? What are we supposed to do? What are they asking? That's my point here. If I were to ask him, if I were to see him, these are the questions I would ask him. Because people will say we got a civil war, we have been saying that thing over and over, up and now. We don't have water in Monrovia, we don't got electricity in Monrovia. Everybody keeps saying the same excuses. Other countries have civil wars. They did far more better than we do. But we keep doing the same thing over and over. There is no plan. The government is not telling you that this is how much it will cost to make sure that there is electricity and water in Monrovia. And this is what they have on hand, and this is what they are looking for. That's my point here.
Thank you. Let's hear from you, Mr. Sheriff, before we.
Yes, sir. You know, I do agree with all of the previous speaker, but to just add this, right? For me, I think Yola is more or like seen as a political institution where people want to come and gain some political relevance from that particular, organization. And the reason why I am saying this is that, one, let's look even here in the diaspora. What is Yola really doing to protect the interests of Liberians here in the diaspora? Or let's just leave the diaspora. Let's talk about Liberia. Liberians invest a lot. Let's just come down to this level of the low people. There are Liberians in the United States who export things to Liberia. They send containers, etc., businesses. Now, what is Yola doing to engage the government? That look, these people are Liberian and they are investing. They are entitled to either 20% or 30%, in some areas or in some businesses, Liberian-owned businesses. What is Yola doing to engage government? And look, this issue, for example, of rice. There are Liberians who are interested in maybe in rice importation, and they need to be protected. And some of these people are based in the United States, to be specific, or in the diaspora. Let's just say the US for short. Now, what is Yola doing to engage the government? That look, our people are sending billions of dollars back home in money or whatever through businesses. So I think that Yola itself, to some extent for me, I don't want to be so harsh, but the reality is that I think Yola is not really living up to a true essence, to a true meaning, especially here in the diaspora. And if people will trust Yola, Yola must begin to engage our government official, more frankly. Not just going there, calling somebody to speak, and they finish speaking, and we drink water and we dance and this, that, and they leave from there. But Yola to have a role to play, to engage government, so that Liberians' businesses can be protected, especially people who are investing from here. It will surprise you to note that Liberians who are sending back containers, these people, when they tell you the level of frustration that the government is putting on them as Liberians, look, you will cry. You will cry
right now. It's true.
Thank you very much. You get hard taxes, not even considering Liberians. So I think this is an opportunity. That's what I said from the beginning. This is an opportunity that Yola must begin to engage our leaders in a more, one would say maybe robust form, respectful, robust form. Let's change the dynamics. Let it not be business as usual. Let's talk about the politics, fine, but also let's talk about the infrastructure development. There are Liberians who want to carry their company to Liberia. Why should we have a Lebanese man or the Lebanese dominating the rice businesses in Liberia? Why should we have the Lebanese and other people importing cars in Liberia? And it will surprise you to know that most of these lawmakers, you know who they buy cars from? They buy cars from the Lebanese. They buy cars from the foreign people. So you want to tell me we can send car on the platform? We can jump and buy Mercedes Benz, buy from car and carry to Liberia for them to ride without AYA, or we get home our head that is scared. But these people are afraid to give us an avenue for us to invest, because at the end of the day, they don't want us to also rise up to the top, look in their faces and tell them you can't do this. They believe that they should suppress us, and this must stop. And that's why there is a need that when the speaker comes, that Yola must be, engaged in more meaningful discussion instead of the usual talking for 15 minutes. Everybody go, we all drink beer, they give you donation, you go and nothing happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheriff. Mr. Dennis, do you have anything to add? If not, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just quickly. The ULA organization. I think we all can agree that the leadership is useless. It's been useless for a long time. No question about that. But the problem that we have as Liberians, though, it is a deficit of leaders, because we need organizations to push the agenda. You can't do it by yourself. You need organizations. But if the leadership is they're just putting on coat suit and just smiling at each other and saying, "Oh my man, you're my resume," when when my time I need a job. If that's what and we know that's what they're doing, but it'll take people to change those organizations. You don't throw the whole organization out. You have to get in there and change it, because this has been going on for a long time. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Charles Taylor was president of ULA at one point in time in his life. I think Ellen was part of that too. So these organizations have been around for a very long time. This is nothing new, and it has been a springboard for leadership in Liberia. But if we are just sitting back and allowing, because I mean, leadership is not. I don't think they're natural born leaders. I believe you are made, based on your own experiences and the decisions you make. You move up into that leadership position, but if these people are useless people, they're useless people. There is nothing wrong with the organization itself. We just need to organize ourselves better and elect better leadership to drive our agenda. I think that will solve a lot of these problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And just in case you missed our disclaimer at the beginning of the show, I'd like to reiterate the opinions and position being offered here tonight is not the official position of the network, but that of the individual panelists. And Mr. Dennis, I don't think we all can agree that ULA is a useless organization.
I didn't say ULA was a useless. I said the people are going to use ULA. That's what I said. Listen.
You said a springboard for a job.
Yes, and I speak from facts. If you name something, we all complain that they haven't done nothing. So that's a fact. That's a useless organization. Well, the people are useless. Okay, it's my personal opinion. It's not a show opinion.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. That's a fact.
But anyways, thank you guys for your contribution on this subject matter. The speaker will be at the Victory Harvest Church in Philly this weekend. So if you listen to us, I think you have an idea on what, if you're going to be there, how to engage the speaker, what to ask him. I think you guys raised some really important points that that I will hope that will be asked to the speaker. But again, thanks all of the panelists for your contribution. At this point, we will take a break, and when we come back, we will get into other developments. So again, let's take our break, and we'll come back. I'll introduce this conversation.
All organizations, NGOs, and social clubs in and out of Liberia. Are you tired of relying solely on social media to run your operations? An effective web platform is your most important marketing tool, and that's where Tiamat.com comes in. Hello, my Liberian people. My name is Sophia, and I want you to consider this. 53% of consumers do online research about an organization before talking to someone from that institution. That means not having a website could be costing you opportunities. Step up your game and establish a professional online presence. Introducing our web platform designed specifically for 501c organizations, small businesses, and political organizations, social clubs, etc. At Tiamat.com, we understand how important it is to make a great digital first impression, which is why we offer you all the help needed to develop, maintain, and host NGOs and small and big organization websites by giving you a full suite of services that includes automatic billing for members, membership and visitor portals, first-class design and functionality, and much more. The best part is, it only costs $20 per month. Upgrade your image today with our customized web design services. Visit www.tiamat.com to get started. This is a Liberian-owned business.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are joining us from. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. This is episode 11 of season 6 of the Hard Zone. And as you know, the Hard Zone is an opinion-based talk show where we feature a team of panelists on different political persuasion, different political ideology. We just came back from our break where we talked about the Speaker of the House of Representatives visits to a town hall meeting that will be hosted at LAP. And now I would like to introduce another conversation. But before I do that, let me recognize the presence of our panelists who just joined us, Mr. Jay Randy. Mr. Randy, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Terry, how you doing? Here to everyone, you guys, Prince and Jawi. My apologies. I should have been here earlier, but I got held back by doing something else. But thank you guys so much for the opportunity. But I did listen to the entire conversation. So if there any quiz you got at the end of the show, I'm willing to take the quiz. Joe always tell me you got to listen because Jerry always send a quiz, so you don't want to score 0. You put it on Facebook.
Well, I can assure you.
You were entering result, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I can assure you that we'll not do a quiz, but the network will send you a link to the survey.
Okay.
So you can tell us how well Ismail did in that conversation that you say you listened to. Anyways, if you're watching us, continue to share the program, continue to engage the conversation by leaving your contribution in the comment section. And with that being said, just recently, or probably this week or last week, sometime this week or last week, I saw a story on Facebook that was carried by one of the media institutions in Liberia on their Facebook page of the senator from Maserado County, I believe, Senator Sir Joseph, donating some medical consignments to Bonk. And I thought that was interesting, and I went through the comment sections, and Liberians found why I had different opinions. Something they think is a very good initiative for the senator to donate some medical equipment to Bonk County. While others says that others were saying that they don't think that how it should be. Like where it's not like a refugee camp, and we use a lot of different names for most especially a sitting senator to be donating. It is part of his job to come up with bills or laws that will affect the health sector. They have a lot of different opinions. So I want you guys to talk to our audience about your position. What do you think about that? And I will come to you, individual panelists, to give us their take on that. And also the former finance minister, Samuel Tuah, and others, the court is requiring them to seek permission before leaving Liberia. So that in the conversation I just introduced earlier, if you guys can opine on that, I would appreciate it. I would like to start with you, Mr. Randy, on this conversation. What do you think of what do you think about Senator Sir Joseph for donating some medical equipment to Bonk County? What do you think about the government requiring former finance minister to seek permission from the court before traveling out of Liberia?
Please adjust your stuff. You gotta see adjust there. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, so Derek, thank you so much. You see, our country is yet to actually define itself and to decide which way we want to go. So we see senator from one county is trying to carry on goodwill to another county. That just goes to show that we have all the different branches of government, but we are not ready to figure out exactly what our limitations are. In all fairness to Sir Joseph, he doing more than what he shouldn't be doing because he is representing Montserrat County, but because we are not ready to define who we are as a country and people, so we see people cross functioning, cross boundary, going to other places and stuff like that. So in the spirit of uplifting our people out of health poverty, economic poverty, whatever Sir Joseph is doing, I just think it's something that we need to commend him on. You guys mentioned about something, but I think it has what I'm about to say here. The national legislature, in my opinion, I don't think they have a goal. Whether you're the speaker or your representative, you must have a goal. One of the key things you do when you become a senator or representative, even prior to you even announcing, you have to ask yourself, why am I trying to become a representative or senator? Your ability to identify situation in your community or as a representative in your county, whether it is health, education, the environment, these things should be on your agenda. These are things you need to run on so that when you become successful, Gary, you spoke about people coming to the diaspora to attract professional people, and every one of you guys said that. If every senator feel that the same lifestyle, the well-being of the people that represent one county or is in one county should be in all county, and their goal is to align with the upliftment of the people. But none of these guys are looking at the sustainable development goals set by the United Nations, and all those things that the United Nations earmark as key performance indicators to create the middle class by the year 2030. None of the guys in there are looking at these things. Then they just go in there all day and just move around and come out of there. So whoever think they need to move from in a repetitive, I think it's repetitive circle or that merry-go-round circle, they can jump out and get to do stuff. Like you look inside yourself. I just said the president is just going around like this, going around. But Saju says, no, I'm tired with the merry-go-round. I have to get up and find my own pathway. And that's what he's doing in the country. So these guys, they are people who all know agenda, no vision. And I think if it's up to me, they need to streamline and reduce the size of those guys. I fired the finance minister ago. I think Mr. Boga need to be very honest with himself and his government. Because he decided to fight corruption. I don't think the corruption is being fair in how they fight. I don't think the decision that they're making is being fair. I see that confirmation bias in what they do because then the administration took place. And I can guarantee everyone you guys on here, come next year, March, the report from the State Department and any other integrity institution globally will really significantly pin Joe Boga government in his first year as one of the very, very dirty government that is fatal corruption. Because now the data comes that Boga will tell you from his perspective what the country is up to. I'm not seeing in any way, shape, and form that Toya is not entitled to due process. But what I'm seeing is collective due process. We are witnessing what is currently happening in the administration, and not a single person is being held accountable, whether it comes from Mr. Boga or not. So it's nothing but it's based on confirmation bias, as I see it. So I'll just leave it as that. But I don't think Toya is going anywhere. Toya will be in the country. He's confident. His supporters are confident. The party is confident. So they just want to show those things that they are doing their job. But if you look at it, it does not really stick for me. And it's more biased in itself than being very transparent. I'll leave it at that, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Randy. And guys, we have about 45 minutes left for this episode. So again, I will do time. So I'll give you guys a minute and 30 seconds to give your contribution. So I'd like to come to you next, Mr. Sheriff. Introduce you opposition, the senator from Montserrat County, Senator Mike Joseph, the nations and military Isama. You found and also the government experience with he exit the public eye, requiring Samuel to others to give us a position on the street development.
All right. Hello, am I clear? Am I audible enough?
Yes, yes, you are.
Fine. Yeah, thank you. Well, again, the Honorable Senator Sir Joseph is a representation of a CDC. When you look at Honorable Sir Joseph's own agenda, is kind of like intertwined with the agenda of the CDC. That is in ensuring that you can adequately represent your people, go above and beyond in making sure that you can make a meaningful contribution. While it is true that we all understand that there are three cardinal responsibilities of a lawmaker, and to some extent, I want to dive into what Honorable Winnie Dape just said. That Honorable Sir Joseph is doing too much. But again, when you live in a country like Liberia, where the executive that is clothed with the responsibility of implementing these things, in making sure, for example, our hospitals have drugs, our roads are built, because they are the implementing arm, of the government. But when that particular branch of government, that is the executive, is lackadaisical on responsibility, it's like the pressure now come to bear on people in the other branches. So if you see the Honorable Sir Joseph, doing all of these, the transportation sector, he's contributing immensely. When you look at the health sector, he's contributing immensely. I think it's something that is good, but again, it just speaks to how ineffective the executive is. Because most of these things that are going on, or most of these things that Honorable Sir Joseph is doing, or I would say the CDC is doing, that should not be one would say his responsibility. But he's just going above and beyond. And this is just to tell you the mindset of the CDC. Like I said from the beginning, he is a representation, an embodiment of the CDC. Now, this is just to show you the mindset of the CDC towards the Liberian people. That we will go above and beyond in making sure that we can impact our people's life. Now, when it comes to the new whatever Republican that is placed on Honorable Samuel Tuwe, I think this is just a bluff by how you call the current government. And the reason why I refer to it as a bluff is that Honorable Samuel Tuwe have no interest in staying out of Liberia. He is a Liberian. And what they are doing, it just shows how irresponsible this government is, and that they will do or go every length to ensure that people who are part of the other political institution, they are submerged politically and they are intimidated politically. So what we see is just an intimidation from Mr. Boyka and his people. Now, you have people in that particular country that have done by far worse. Today, what are they doing? They are having job, walking around the place. Nobody have time for them. Selective justice has now become the order of the day, as we are seeing.
Thank you, Mr. Sherry. Let's hear from you, Mr. Dennis or Bishop Dennis.
Look, I mean, I have a different take on this thing, man. I think the senators, the House of Representatives, the executive branch, look, when they start to do these individual projects in Liberia, to me, is buying votes or buying influence. Like the problem that solving the problem in Liberia this way, and not the legislature need to solve this problem through policies. Putting policies in place and making laws to solve some of these problems. But when you go by one bus here, one ambulance, it's sort of like trying to fill the Atlantic Ocean with sand, one green at a time. It's not going to work. The only thing that we're seeing here now, because Sir Joseph is getting airtime, we're talking about him. He's keeping his name out there in the public. I don't agree with it. It reeks of corruption. No senator, they don't take their own pay and go, help other people with it. But they shouldn't be using any other sort of state resources to do this job. When it comes to Mr. Tuwe, listen, this idea here that somebody should not be tried for corruption because somebody else is not being tried for corruption, it just makes no sense. So because if somebody killed one person and then that person get away with it, does it make it good if somebody else go kill somebody and you don't try that person, at some point we got to hold Liberians accountable. Whether you CDC, you MDC, you PPP, we have to hold each other accountable. We can't keep making excuses for other people here. We have to hold each other accountable. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis. You made some points that kind of go contrary to that of Mr. Sheriff and Ms. Brandy. So I will come back to you later because I have questions for both of you. But let's hear from you, Mr. Jawin.
Okay, thank you, Derek. To just buttress what Mr. Dennis said, it's the same playbook. If the representative or senator, if they say like if there were like invitation of maybe the health minister, why this is lacking in that place, that is functioned. It is the lawmakers that allocate fundings for these things. What have they provided? What have they allotted that the executive branch did not add on? It is not a role of Congress to undertake projects. The Congress shows the role is to ensure check and balance. So what he's doing is that he can go to any level man and collect these. These are corruption. I don't know the source of. I'm not saying that's why he did, but this is what has been happening from day one. That has been the formation of Liberian government from the time we were young babies. People go to the place and do things in their own name. There is no structure. So if drugs are shot, any hospital for that matter, and the executive branch of government is not doing anything, the Congress, the lawmakers should invite who is ever in charge for questioning why this is not provided, why this is happening in this. Unless we get to that point, we can't make progress in Liberia, where individual ministers, senators, this, including the president, to do project in their own name. We need to operate using structures if that's the only way it will work. So when those in power, when they leave today, the structure will still be in place.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. 20 seconds.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, it's just bad for, I don't know what to even say about it, because we keep doing the same thing over and over and over. Our minister donating, doing this, secretary doing this. It's not their role. They got functions. Why can't we allow this function to work? Why do we interfere using our own individual influence to get support? That's my point here.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from you, Mr. Boda.
Just to piggyback on what Bro Dennis and Randy mentioned something earlier about their functions of government, misplacing of their roles in government and so forth. And Mr. What's his name? Senator Sir Joseph.
I'm sorry.
I'm not going to applaud him for what he did, because all he do, he's pushing a page for his own political achievement to go running after. He prepared himself for the run. And if Mr. Sir Joseph indeed do love the people of Liberia, he wants to see better healthcare system, he should be passing laws or advocating for laws that will put something in place to fund the healthcare sector, put more money in the healthcare sector. They all are building schools here and so forth. And in the Liberia district, the educational system, the public sector, the public school in this area are not being funded, are being underfunded, and this goes around the country. So to see him donating whatever he donated to carnage, for me personally, I see it as being a part of the problem in our society. Because that is how they convince our people or mislead our people that they are Mr. Goof Man to lead our people. He's not a good leader. You should be providing You're making law. That's why they put you there, to create the environment for the future of your country. All right. And to talk about Mr. Twer or whatever, I mean, people may have issue why they're being persecuted or whatever it is. I understand. Politically, we are all in a different political environment. And those are all who believe in, who come a different political idea of political parties. But the rule of law must exist. We have to start from somewhere. We cannot keep pushing back and say, oh, why this person or one other person, like Dennis said earlier.
Mr. Boda.
Okay, that Dennis said earlier, Mr. Twer being brought to testify or being brought to court for whatever he had committed, alleged that he did. I think we as Liberians should applaud the government, let Mr. Twer go to the court and have it there in court. If he be acquitted of all of the crimes that were charged on him, then Mr. Twer can say, yes, I was being haunted for doing my job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't see any point when for anybody in government being charged to go to court.
Thank you.
President or pass.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Let me come back to you, Mr. Sheriff, and I will come to you after Mr. Randy. Your position on these two on these two topics have been kind of opposed to by the other panelists. You said that in the case of Mr. Sir Joseph alternating those medical equipment in Bond County, although you didn't, I'm not quoting you for burden. You say it can somehow be the government, in your word, or lackadaisical, and being lackadaisical about its responsibility. But you did not straightforward say whether it was right or wrong. So I will come back to you. As the other panelists have said, the thing is, like Mr. Dennis put it, is the buying influence. The thing is acts of corruption. So I'd like for you to come back on that. And also, you called the government decision to require that former Minister Twer or seek permission to travel Liberia. You called it a bluff, and Mr. Boda just said it. He don't see any problem with it. He don't think it's like how you put it, selective justice. If Mr. Twer feel like he's innocent, he should follow the procedure and free himself of those charges, and then he can come out and say it was like witch hunt. What do you think about those comments? Terry.
I'm sorry. Am I audible enough? I'm sorry. We got so many things going on. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Like I said from the very beginning, when you see a CDC senator doing all of these things, it just shows that the CDC as a political institution cares for its people. And we now want to sit down, especially when they have that particular leverage, when they have that particular connection, to ensure that they can help their people. Again, I want to agree with our brother Randy, who said the honorable is doing too much. Well, he is doing what he's doing because the branch of government that they have already given money to ensure that those monies are used to have drugs in the hospitals, to have transportation, and etc., they are not doing such, but rather they decide to use that money, pass around with it, and enjoy themselves. So in Liberia, like our own nation where we find ourselves, where people believe that when you are a senator or you are a representative, you are supposed to do everything, which is not supposed to be like that. It's embarrassing. It makes you as a senator to go the extra mile. What we see Honorable Sir Joseph doing is what the executive should be doing. Like Mr. Boyka boasts of, like he has connection and etc. Remember some years ago, Mr. Boyka was here in the United States of America.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Terry, but let me interject this question, okay? If you saying in Senator Joseph defense that the executive branch is not doing their job, and Mr. Joseph is kind of sort of taking the extra mile. Now, it begs me to ask the question: is he doing his job as far as making laws or pushing bills that solve the health crisis in Montserrat County before he going to Bond County? Is Sir Joseph running that mile before he can take the extra miles of making sure that things are taken care of in Montserrat County as per his job description?
Definitely, he has not fallen short of his responsibility. in making sure that these three cardinal responsibilities, that we know of, that they are met in terms of lawmaking, representation, and oversight. He has not fallen short of these, functions. But what he is doing is going to the extra mile. Is going the extra mile to help his people. It's almost like, take for an example, in a house, you have the mother who, for example, responsible to do the cooking. Okay, mama is not there. The big sister is there. Even though that is not her responsibility, but her brothers are hungry. Her brothers are crying. And she is of the age that she can pour water on the fire and cook rice. So is it because it is not her responsibility to cook? So she must sit down and allow her brothers or her siblings, so to speak, maybe to die of starvation? So when we see what we are seeing with Honorable Sir Joseph, I think it's something that we must commend this particular man of. We must commend the CDC of, because the government, remember now, the lawmakers allocate funding to the executive to ensure that drugs is there, transportation is provided, etc., etc. They are provided. So they have already played their part. In presence of Honorable Sir Joseph, if I want to be, very specific, he has played his part. But again, he is saying that his people are suffering because these monies that are allocated for this area, they are not being used adequately. And he has the connection. Unlike somebody who will say they get 42 years experience and they have all of the connection, they have friends in higher places, and these friends will help. And they are not using those connections, but rather they are passing around with 100,000 on credit card, Santa Claus and Mickey Mousing and living a kind of opulence life. So Honorable Sir Joseph, or the CDC is now forced to go above and beyond to do what is right. And that's the reason why we must commend this particular man. We must commend him. Now, with the issue of Honorable Samuel Tuwe.
Thank you. I will come back to you, Mr. Sherry. Well, I have to go to the other panelists. Let's hear from Mr. Randy on this. Do you think, Mr. Sherry just said, I'm coming to you, Mr. Randy. I'm sorry. Do you think Mr. Senator Sir Joseph needs to be commended, or should he be opposed, as the other panelists said, is a form of corruption? He's buying influence, he's buying votes. I know you've expressed your position on this earlier, but in listening to the other panelists and just recently, Mr. Sheriff, now what is your rebuttal to that?
I think it is very important that before we discuss an issue or an individual character, it is always important that we delineate the person's character to understand who are we talking about. Sir Joseph is not a stranger to the goodwill that he does today. Before Mr. Sir Joseph became representative, he was doing good across the country. He was in Seattle, the United States, and then when he got back home, the goodwill that he started doing when he was representative, he did that. And it was based on that good work that he got elected and he became the undefeated senator in the county. And Mr. Sir Joseph also has taken a careful look. He served as representative in the 12 years of Joseph Walker and Eddie Johnson Sirleaf. He was there when the County Development Fund was issued. He was there when Mr. Eddie Styler said we need to have a quick impact project because we did nothing and we are about to leave. He saw all those things, Derek. The question here is, what happened to the County Development Fund? Why isn't the County Development Fund affecting the people's lives in Oviedo County? What was the purpose of the County Development Fund? So when people are discussing these things, it becomes laughable to me because there are freshmen into Liberian politics. There are sophomores into Liberian politics. There are senior students into Liberian politics. And then we have the Grand Cuba and we have the dinosaurs in the Liberian politics. And I will stand here today and tell you that I'm in the dinosaurs. That means I have surpassed every other level. Sir Joseph is doing extra because the Unity Party government has been in power for all those years. The question we should be asking ourselves during the Eddie administration, what regulation, what policy, what law did they put in place that we can go to today? Because I'm not hearing from anyone on the platform that telling me, say, hey, Derek, you know what we're doing in 12 years' time? This is what we're doing in 12 years' time in all the county. Nobody referencing that because there was nothing to reference then and there's nothing to reference today. So what Sir Joseph is doing is he's looking at everybody in and saying, but geez, you guys, so I have to do my goodwill. That is the first thing we need to understand here. So these lawmakers for 12 years. Hold on. Let me land because.
Give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me land because when people try to distort this conversation, I would like to come in to provide very better information. So to your audience out there, let them ask themselves, what did the 12-year administration, the legislative branch, what did they put in place that was better, that Joseph is not following or doing your own thing? Nothing. What Mr. Bawker, who served with Ellen for 12 years, what has he done to say, okay, guys, this is what my plans are, so we can squash all what Mr. Sir Joseph is doing? None. This man sit over there and sleep and sleep. We are end of the year. He just coming up with he arrest spring work. Nothing has been done. And let me end with the Samuel 12. I did not say that Samuel 12 should not be prosecuted. And we in America here, we always say well published, so far are published. If you look at it in a context, there are people in the Bawker government that are all over, greasy on their arm, that are doing things that are illegal. Bawker is not speaking about that. A tour is going to go through the same due process. What happened to the present official that are going through the due process? If we can separate the two, then nobody should come to tell me, say, I don't support Donald Trump because Donald Trump is this. No. Let's wait until we see things. Yeah, because when you are committing any act of what I would describe as unprofessional, unethical behavior, it must be addressed. All right? Don't say, don't exclude. There's no exclusion under the law. There are people in there now who are doing things that the Liberian people are not happy about. It must be addressed. When he went through the process, he posed a bond, but we are not hearing from the Bawker people. You are looking at one of the most incompetent government in the history of our country that don't even know their A to B. So I rest my case there.
Thank you. Before I come to you, Mr. Jai Winkin, and I'll come to you, Mr. Dennis. And two things I wanted to ask Mr. Randy, and this is a question to you, Mr. Jai Winkin.
I'm still here. I mean,
we do not have enough time, and I have to hear from Mr. Weah, Mr. Dennis, and Mr. Boda. So I'll just go to them right away. But I will reference what you were saying. It almost like the initial part of the Randy statement kind of ended what Mr. Dennis said. If you're saying looking at Mr. Senator Sir Joseph or character or his background, he has been carrying out this or humanitarian acts for a very long time. That's what led him to being the undefeated senator in Montserrat County. And if he's still doing it today, it's almost like you're saying, Mr. Dennis is right. He's doing those things to buy influence. Maybe he want to get on a big and he have a big and bigger endeavors. Maybe to be the president of Liberia. So he's doing the humanitarian work. Not because he loves Liberia, but because he want to or buy their votes. So it almost seems like you're very...
No. I defer you on that. Derek. I defer you on that. Yes, what? Derek,
can I come in, man? Because Mr. Randy have talked. Can I come in?
I defer you on that. Let me just give me 1 nanosecond. Just 1 nanosecond. I defer you on that. And I defer you. Joseph has been doing what he's doing today. The point you should be making, Derek. Yes, the point you should be making, Derek. The point you should be making here is why is it up to now the lawmakers who have served in all opposition, why is it that they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing?
I recognize.
Can I
recognizing, I will give you the opportunity to clarify. Honestly, you can disagree with what I'm saying. I'm just saying how I'm interpreting what you said, but I will give you the opportunity to clarify that. I will give you the ample time to do that. But Mr. Jai Winkin, let me come to you. I know you had a big battle. Now, again, just in reference to what Mr. Randy was saying, if the senator feels that he can impact the life outside of politics, outside him being a senator, then maybe he can see what another like.
You got to change your audio, Derek. You got to stick talking to it. Yes.
Yeah, but let me hear from you. Let me hear from you, because most of what I have to say will require Mr. Randy to clarify.
So what I want to clarify here is that I don't think there is anybody on a panel who is representing any political party. What we're discussing is about Liberia. I want to get that fact clear. Whether previous or former government, But here is the fact. This is not a question of who served in the government before and who did not. What we are discussing is the problem with the way we are being governing our country. Sir Joseph has been there that long time as well. Before Sir Joseph, many people from J.J. Rabata, people say, where individual person goes to the community and say they are doing something, we all know that has not solved the problem. So it got nothing to do with any political party. It got nothing to do with any particular president administration. It has to do with our country. Our country just refused, or those who are in charge just refuse to put in place a structure. One person can start it. If Sir Joseph that we're talking about, we talk about country development money, which is also misplaced. That is never the proper way to do it. The question here is that if this man in question, listener in question, to say, look, this is happening, so he was inviting whoever in charge of the funding, the funding that they allotted for this project. How many people they invited? How many ministers? How many people that put in charge of money that government officials handle and they make appropriate? That's what we're talking about here. It's not somebody just guessing, going in a community to donate. The president himself does not even have the authority to do that. We need institution. That's my point. It doesn't matter who did it before and who doing this now. This is the problem we have in Liberia. We are did it. All the other people they do things in their own names, and that is not a way to go. We need our institution to work. If you allot money, the institution that is responsible, if the money is not utilized, invite a person to account for the money. Why the project did not take place? Until we get this thing working, it will be the same thing where anybody can get up and do something. And this is why people are just wanting to become president, representative, senator, because they collect money in that way that the senator did. All of them doing it, they go to business people and collect money in the name of helping the people. That is wrong. That's my point.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jawon. Let's hear from you, Mr. Dennis.
Look, I think Mr. Sheriff and Mr. Randy are being intellectually dishonest here. Sure, they said something right. This is not Sir Joseph's first time bringing these things to Liberia. Look, during George Weah's presidency, 6 years, George Weah had complete control of the executive. He had control of the House of Representatives through both our chambers, and the Senate through our chair. Sir Joseph brought in more ambulances and medicine during that time. So was he saying that that government was not adequate bringing in enough medicine at that time during George Weah time? Because I was there in Liberia when Sir Joseph brought ambulances, brought buses. I was there. I saw these things during that time. This is not his first time doing these things. So it has to stop. And CDC had complete control. They had 100% control of all branches of government. So the real question we should be asking is, why didn't they prosecute Ellen's people? I would have loved for them to have put somebody on the prison bench. We all been taught, when we go to parties here in America, we yell and scream at each other like, bro, we know, do this, do that, do that. But yet and still, it seems like it's okay when it's your father that's doing the abuse, but when somebody else's father comes to do the abuse, that when you want to point the fingers. But at some point, we all have to say, hey, enough is enough. Sir Joseph brought ambulances and medicine during George Weah time. Plenty other representatives that were building hospitals and all during that time. Where was this money coming from? This is corruption. This is corruption. You can't now say the man bringing medicine because Joseph Boyka not bringing medicine when he did the same thing during George Weah time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Let me come to you, and then we'll come back to Mr. Randy and Mr. Sheriff.
Thank you. Just to add to my brother point, Randy made some comment about Sir Joseph being a humanitarian, is a good man. Granted, Sir Joseph is one of the longest sitting lawmaker in the power of Liberia at this point. And I want, if my brother running, he's a dinosaur, can tell me how many bills Mr. Sa has sponsored in terms of healthcare to provide healthcare assistance to that he legislates, saying he's a humanitarian, that's why he came to government, and that he's doing all of these good stuff for government. And like Dennis said, CDC had, brother, see, we keep on that, but CDC, that has CDC does. CDC were in government, they had both chamber of the House and Executive, and yet hospital was deplorable and still deplorable since they left office. And he proud of it that Mr. Sir Joseph is a humanitarian who had all of this idea to bring medication to support the medical, and he did not do that in the parliament to legislate laws or pass bill. And even at that, they are there to monitor and to hold executive accountable. They pass bill into law in the budget for healthcare. When the last time Mr. Sir Joseph had ever spoken publicly or have the government had accountable, call them for conference to say, hey, we allotted this X amount of dollar in government for healthcare. What is it that they put on our medicine? And yet, let my brothers and tell me here on the panel that Mr. Sir Joseph is the best guy, and he's not pitching for the next office because he want to be president. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much. Let me come to you, Mr. Sheriff. It seems like you're ready to respond to some of these comments. So I will come to you, Sheriff.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think the first thing is the assertion that was made by our brother that the CDC government control about 100% of the government. I think that information is false. It's misleading, and this is the reason why some of us are here to somebody will say sharpening the contradiction. So it's false. That is misleading. We all know that there are three branches of government. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary branch. So if you say that the CDC government control 100%, I don't know what you're saying about the executive. Yeah. Or what you you're saying about the legislative branch, what you're saying about the judiciary branch. So that information is false, it's misleading. But let me just say this.
Mr. Sheriff, please.
There is no absolute control. Even if you say that there is no absolute control in Liberia when it comes to the way our governance system run. And again, that's why we have three branches of government. But to just go to the issue, we understand that the Unity Party is fond of doing that. So people maybe who are associated with the Unity Party, we think that other political institutions, should do same. But no, the CDC believe in the rule of law. But that's not the issue. The issue here is the lawmakers have a responsibility. But when you look at our own law or our own budget law, in 2005, 2006, the government of Liberia sat down at the time along with our international partner and decided to craft this particular county development fund that was spoken of by Honorable Wendy Dapo. The reason for these county development funds is so that money, I think in a tune of some 200,000 can be allocated or more or so, can be allocated to the county that they will be able to, earmark, projects of priority, projects of importance that will be able to affect the people's life, and that money can be used out of whatever sector in the county that is of challenge, that it can be used. But we saw how that particular money again was seriously mismanaged and controlled by the same old executive under the regime of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We saw it. And Joseph Numa Boyka. So that is not something that we can argue here because the facts are there. Now, under the CDC government, I just want to take the issue of health. When you look at the issue of health, the CDC government was able to build more than 25, real structure hospitals across the country in the Republic of Liberia, which is unprecedented of any government since 2005, since the war. You know that. Madam Ellen Johnson said he received all of this money, but could not even build. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me. I'm staying with you, but let me just reiterate what Mr. Dennis said, and I want you to address that. Senator Sir Joseph was still doing what he's doing today under this administration, and you just said CDC did so well in the health sector, but Senator Sir Joseph was still importing ambulances and things like that. But you did not condemn, you did not attribute that to the executive branch not taking care of the responsibility. Just this time, you're saying that his action is because the executive branch is not living up to her responsibility. Can you kind of like contact? Can you kind of like align those two statements? How is it?
Yeah.
One?
So
Go ahead.
yeah. So the first thing that we look at the input of the previous government. For example, in the health sector, we look at the input of the previous government. It was the CDC government that provided ambulance for almost all of the counties in Liberia. All of the counties in Liberia. No, so what Honorable Sir Joseph was doing was just buttressing the government because we saw the effort. As compared to this particular government, what has this government done in the health sector? Or what are they doing? What can you point to? So unlike the CDC government, we can point to something that this is what they were doing. It was being, complemented by the effort of Honorable Sir Joseph, which is not a strange thing. He has been in this forever, even before you could come to the political lamplight. He has been in this forever. But unlike now, what we are seeing, there are not even in fact, there is not even, let me not say, but there is not even a single project that this government has even undertaken on the health sector. The last time I can recall that this government made any significant, in fact, that is not even a significant impact to even go to the hospital, was when Joseph Numa Boyka and that of our mother Katumu Boyka went to JFK and gave top to women, a place that they don't have drugs. That's where he went to give top to women. So these are what we are saying. So what is this government doing in the health sector? So at the end of the day, you see that all of what Honorable Sir Joseph is doing is just to ensure that his people benefit. But I do agree with others who are saying there are county development fund. But at this county development fund, especially under this government, is it being used for that purpose? In fact, according to the information that we have gathered, the county development fund under this government now want to reduce it significantly. They even want to reduce it to the extent that it becomes almost like like nothing. And it is because they don't have interest in the Liberian people. So their project and their priority is not geared towards in bettering the people's life. Look, for example, the education sector. A few days ago, there was a picture circulating where students are sitting on the ground. So what is this government doing?
Thank you. Let's hear from Mr. J. Randy. I know you have your rebuttal ready, but let me ask you this question, Mr. Randy. Why you can address this question? You said earlier that based on Mr. Senator Joseph character, he's been doing it with someone that wants to do more, and I feel like given that is true, being the senator of Montserrat County is limiting him. If he's not humanitarian, he can help like countrywide, and nobody will question his decision why you donating medical equipment to X, Y, and Z county. But if you're a senator of Montserrat County and sending out equipment to Bond County, where and Montserrat County still has some issues within the health sector, I think then people will question that. But if he is humanitarian, like you mentioned, why don't he leave that seat for another librarian that will focus specifically on Montserrat County and his responsibility and be a humanitarian and help Liberia on a larger scale? I want you to address that, and then you can rebuttal some of the comments you've heard to panelists that oppose or kind of disagree with your position on this side Joseph donation to Bond County.
That's a very good question you asked, and I think that question should be answered by every representative and senator for the county they represent. Because if I represent Bond County and I see Sir Joseph coming to my county to provide services, then that defeats the purpose why I even became senator. That's the first question that every senator needs to answer. All right? But they are not doing those things. But then tonight, we're trying to focus on Sir Joseph. Instead of honoring Sir Joseph now and praising these senators and representatives across the country, we are here making Sir Joseph the focus. So who is doing something that drawing our attention? Sir Joseph. And what place can we take away from Sir Joseph to tell our other senators? If I'm in Bond County, I'll be calling my senator right now. You have to be doing what Sir Joseph is doing. But the people are very complacent with what Sir Joseph is doing. So that tells me that when these people go run in the various counties, the district, they have no agenda. Their goal is to just become what they want to become. You guys spoke about the speaker earlier. Speaker coming to America is good, but the speaker need to bring some of these senators then to sit with us and let's have the conversation. If Sir Joseph is going to your county, what is preventing you from doing stuff for your county? What are your priority in that county that you represent? If you were to ask every senator that come to you, Derek, and ask them, give me top 5 or top 6 priority of yours. If they tell you what the priority are, then we want to see what they're going to put in there. But everything we're seeing here, no one is referencing what the Unity Party representative in terms of the senator and the representative has done in the past. All right. Mr. Weah was there for 6 years. Do you know that Mr. Weah 6 years and adding 12 years in terms of achievement, they are the same on the Sustainable Development Goals? Just 6 years, but the 12. Boka was part of that. But nothing the guy have been able to do. Look at Darrell Dillon, for example. He is a comparison to Sir Joseph in Mosurado County. What has he done? The constitution of Sir Joseph, it encompasses Mosurado County. Let me remind you guys, during the Ebola era, the United Nations, the World Bank, the Unity Party administration, why Sir Joseph was called Ebola hero? Why any of the representatives that were in Liberia at that time from all the 15 countries, why did they not become Ebola hero? Because these guys are good for nothing Unity Party representative that ain't work for them, excuse my expression. They work for nothing. So all the guys that are here defending the Unity Party, they are not coming out with any reference that the Unity Party have put out there that they can defend. But they're coming after someone who is doing their job. Sir Joseph is doing their job. If they don't want for Sir Joseph to do their job, then let them show the people why they were elected. They are not doing their job. I listened to my brother. We are talking about, the party cannot be held accountable. Mr. Weah, political party is formulated to form policy, and policy is supposed to
No.
You said, I just took a note here. So I just took a note. I took a note when you're ready. You said we shouldn't hold the political party responsible. This is an institutional problem. How can it be an institutional problem when you don't establish a political party to rally people around? Well, that's up to you. You can watch the show for the next time. After the show, you see it, you hear yourself. But I would say this to everyone here. Political parties are key because they come together with a plan that they have identified that they can use as their platform. And when they get elected, that platform turns into a policy. And that policy will start to affect the people, affect the people's life in a positive way. So there's no way we should come here and say, the political party. If we have to change institution, we need to change ourselves. The representative, the senator today, they don't know why they are in this position. And if I were one of them, I would take a page from Sir Joseph. Because I don't see the urgency, I don't see the competition. That's why when Fonatikova come to this country, or whoever, or how they call it, normally Kanga, instead of her going to Chicago to go attend the DNC convention, she need to come in and interact with professional people because she had no agenda, no vision. All right? These people were born to be losers, just like Joseph Boyka. Nothing they had done after 9 months. You have somebody who been in there for a very long period of time that is teaching us how to care for people. It's not about political gain. It's about being a good Samaritan. Sir Joseph cannot sit in Mosurado County and get all the medical facilities. By the way, the supply that Sir Joseph is getting, he's not coming here lobbying for it here, Derek. A friend of mine called Gus, he lived in Peoria, Illinois. He linked with the institution because he's an electrical engineer. He worked with Sir Joseph, and every year the people come to help in our country. Sir Joseph has a foster parent who are missionary that donate these things to Sir Joseph. The only issue I have with Sir Joseph, I don't like to see him putting a name on those things. That I would say no to that. But he is not doing this thing for political reason. And lastly,
now you get my point.
Lastly, all right. Lastly, Sir Joseph is not thinking about running for any political position anytime soon. He is more fixated on helping our people. But the question is, how many of the lawmakers have decided to do what Sir Joseph is doing today? Who's stopping them? Who is stopping them? These people are in power for 12 years. Why can anyone here tell me that they had done that is different from what Sir Joseph is doing today? Then I will have to not argue.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got about 4 minutes before we take our next break. So I'll give Mr. Weah a minute, and then Mr. Ennis a minute, and Mr. Bola a minute. And then after that, we will take our break.
Okay, thank you. I just want to clarify that what I said was this was not a question of political party. That's all my statement. This is not a question of political party, whether you belong to this party or not. The issue is institution. So we can't sit here. Nobody is saying what he's doing is wrong, but the role of giving money or doing this are not the responsibility for which they were elected. The way he has the contact, they should talk about putting in place an infrastructure where all the donation will be made. Then this thing will be made in the name of that particular institution, not an individual. That has been my consistent statement. So
Thank
that's
you.
how I use that statement.
Thank you,
The
Mr.
problem
Weah.
having Liberia is not a question of political party. That's what I said.
Thank you, Mr. Weah. Mr. Jennings, let's hear from you.
Listen, look, whenever we start to talk about, who did this, who did that, and then the conversation goes into, oh, George Weah did better than Ellen doing better than Boyka. The standards in Liberia is so low. I mean, we shouldn't even look. If you give me the choice here, I would blow up the CDC party. I would blow up the Unity Party. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're all a failure. They're all rotting. Nobody cares about them. So I'm not gonna be sitting here talking about, oh, the CDC bought 2 buses 2 years ago, so they're better because Joseph Boyka only brought a half a bus to Liberia. How low? I mean, that's a very low standard to judge yourself by. So nobody cares about. Yeah, United Party rotting. We know that. CDC is also rotting. Let's not try to clean this thing up. We have a future in this country to turn things around. We can't keep going back and say, let's compare George Weah to Ellen and Ellen to Boyka. No, these all people are rotting. They're rotting. So let's fix the real problem and not create a cult, because that's what CDC had turned out to be, a cult.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings. Let's hear from you, Mr. Buddha.
Finally landed to what we all have been talking about. Mr. Sir Joseph, nobody against his work that he does as a humanitarian. But there are people who give him these things. And being a lawmaker, we're talking about driving policies. They are the people who are making decisions. They are the people who fund government. Government does not fund themselves with all the approval of Sir Joseph and his colleagues in the House of Representatives, Senate. That's the point we're making here. These are the people that are responsible to hold the executive accountable. These are the watchdog for the executive. So when we're talking about a representative doing the kind of thing he's doing, it's a pattern of corruption. So that's what we're talking about. We're not saying Sir Joseph is a bad man, whatever, but his role is to hold the executive accountable. So through his colleague with his influence to make sure that the executive function for the money they put in the budget. But if this thing has not been done, we'll talk about county development fund. That service is setting what they're saying there. Shouldn't be an issue. Those are the people that are supposed to protect that money. It's not the executive. It's the House of Representatives that protect that money, not the executive for the people. And they're not doing it. So if you're going to talk about one government against the others, they all have not done any justice. That's the point we're making here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buddha and all of you panelists. And before we take our last break, and let me just post this argument that I saw in the comment section. So some people argue that Mr. Senator Joseph Ashton is completely wrong, and I know Mr. Sheriff, Mr. Randy, you guys love to call spade a spade. I think it's important for the sake of Liberia that we call spade a spade. His action is, I don't care how you put it, is completely wrong. And I push this argument to say, let's look at Moserado County, for example. What is Sir Joseph progress report in Moserado County as far as the health sector is concerned? Do they have enough clinics? Do they have enough medication? Do they have ambulances to take people in emergency situation to the nearby hospital? Do they have? Does he have all of this issue addressed as Senator of Moserado County?
So Jerry, let me ask you this, Jerry. I don't mean to cut you up, but let me ask you this. All right, let me ask you this, Jerry.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
You are speaking tonight. I have to say that Sir Joseph is the only senator who has this absolute power. Instead of you asking why, because there's always a why to a how. Why these senators are in a different position, and how do we understand why are they doing what Sir Joseph is doing? You are putting structure into the heads of the people. But if you continue to say, what Sir Joseph is doing in his county. That means you giving the other senator the reason to not be challenged to do what they're doing. You understand me?
If I will finish up, and this is not just a Sir Joseph issue. He just happened to be the point of reference.
Because at the end of the day, after all the conversation, I was expecting you to say, you know what? Why it is true that Sir Joseph is being blamed in what he's doing? And what about the other senators? And let the guy explain themselves why the other senators are not saying anything.
Can you protect me, Mr. Randy? And I will conclude. We'll take a break. I will come. You guys choose to address this in your closing. I appreciate that.
And these are political induced attack on the CDC. It's not on Sir Joseph, it's on the CDC. Why these people can talk about Dillon? Why are they not talking about Dillon? Why are they not talking about Young Lieutenant Lawrence? Why are they not talking about these Unity Party lawmakers? So we are talking about institution, right? Yeah, so you know, it's just, but anyway, yeah, let's just put this in. We'll come back after the break.
No matter who does it, it's just wrong.
You see across the board about what is they should be doing. And the problem is what we're talking about.
Wrong. When the institution
you guys are not
we can't correct one wrong for the next wrong. We cannot correct one wrong for the next
wrong. The entire show, and I can't even get 1 minute to make my point and learn. But you know what? Let me recognize the president of Bishop Hagar. As soon as
He's late. Bishop late.
You only have to contribute. I hope you've been listening to the show. Bishop Hagar, welcome to the show.
I've been listening to all the falsehoods spared by Prince, and I'm ready to debunk him tonight.
You know, I miss my Reverend. I miss my bishop. I'm glad it's just that we're going before he can. Unity Party people.
Oh God, it's so interesting.
We'll take our final break and we'll come back. We'll have our panelists give you their closing remark, and then we'll draw the curtain to this one. But for now, we'll see you after the break.
Introducing Suku Express, shipping from the USA to Liberia, offering pickup services from Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and New York. Suku Express is very reliable, efficient, trustworthy, and seamless. U.S. warehouse and loading dock is at 54101 Tacony Street, Philadelphia, PA 19137. Contact 267-987-6821 or 267-437-6463. Then in Liberia, at Dry Rice Market, Bannersville Road. Contact 0775-245-666 or 0555-594-53.
Hey, this is Grace, the CEO of the founder Suku Express. Parcel your stuff good, valuable stuff goes in a plastic barrel. You gotta shrink wrap, you lock the barrel, you gotta shrink wrap the barrel, protect your stuff. Boxes, useful, use shoes. Any box taller than me, I can't ship it.
With Suku Express, your worries are over. Ship with confidence and ease. Thanks for doing businesses with Suku Express.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Hard Zone. Thank you for staying with us this far. We have just a little over 5 minutes left for the minute of this show, so we will go right into having our panelists give you their final words for this episode, and then we will draw the curtain. I would like to start with you, Mr. Boda. You guys will have a minute. I'm sorry, that is not a very long time. I know for you guys to say everything you have to say, but we are very short on time, so I'll be very firm on the 1 minute for the closing remark. I'd like to start with you, Mr. Boda.
Well, thank you, Derek, for having me. I think what is important to mention here tonight is that people have their own reservation against the Unity Party, and any Liberian holds the view, and they have the right to have so. But I think the government has started doing something, trying to target some of the issues that we have: corruption, looking at our payroll system, looking at our employment, other stuff going on. So those are some things that we haven't done in our past, holding past leader accountable to bring them to justice. So those are things we want to follow. I know for people are not yet seeing anything of a relief, especially for the population. They want immediate reaction, which is right. Mr. Boga has not spoken into those direction, so yes, people may have that reservation. But to already says the Boga government is not doing anything, I don't think it's a fair judgment of the government. So I know we all have our own political biases or whatever you want to call it, but it's important. So let us not just rule the government that's not doing anything. That is not a fair judgment to this government. So
Thank you very much. Let's hear from you next, Mr. J. Randy.
Yeah, Derek, thank you so much. And my apology for coming here so late. Again, if we are to make Liberia a better country, we need to first hold ourselves accountable. Every representative should know mainly why they want to be a representative or a senator. We're not seeing this, and they are not taking any page from anyone so far. Also, I would like to say to this administration, this is one of the incompetent administration I have seen so far. After 90 days, 9 months in office, the 100 day has proven to be nothing, that even to the landmark of the United Nations Sustainable Goal. The United Nations have given us a sustainable goal. One of the early administration said by the year 2030, we will create a middle class. And what we has done statistically is what I was trying to compare to adding 12 years. Those are statistics that comes from the United Nations. We had to 6 years to maintain what Ellen put in place because he wanted to ensure that the goal that was set to make sure that Liberia is a middle class country. You have this individual they call Mr. Boyka, a very incompetent individual that don't even understand what it means to be a president. He comes to power not understanding what has been done, not understanding the domestic and international or expectation. He just there just destroying everything that Mr. Weah and Ellen put together. Now today, they are being taken back after the UNA meeting last week that he has to go and look carefully at the PAPD agenda because that's what the United Nations and the international body has approved. And today, Gafwan is there telling the people now and his supporters, we're going to see how best we can look at the PDP. That tells you that this government is one of the most incompetent government and the officials are incompetent. And every day that comes, you see nothing but corruption in the country. So I don't know where Boyka want to take this country. I just think that Mr. Boyka came to power just to care for his health and the other rest of the other people, they are on their own because they know he's not going to be president after his first term. So they're doing everything possible to enrich themselves. But the people of Liberia have seen the truth. In so saying, I'm not saying we are is perfect. No, we did have some issue as well. If we are to move the country forward, we must be very honest with ourselves. Where we see wrong, we should identify the wrong. And I've been doing it for CDC. Prince Sherry is there. He will tell you guys. My is not based on political affiliation. No, where I see the wrong, I will call it out. Boyka is very incompetent to be president, and not to mention the people around him. If he wants to do better, he needs to re-strategize himself and bring things back to the professional level. For Mr. Kofa, I know he's going to stand in Philadelphia there and want to meet people who are familiar with him. But in leadership, we are taught to work with disagreeable people. Because when you work with disagreeable people and agreeable people, we have introvert and extrovert. If we don't see these people working in the administration, that administration is doomed for the time. The conversation ends from our end here, but we'll continue to have more discussion in the future. Derek, thank you so much. And thanks to every one of you guys at Prince Sharif and to every one of you guys. My big brother, Martin, thank you very much. Mr. Weah and Mr. Bishop, it's the first time meeting you. I hope I will get to meet you all the time here.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jaiwinkin Weah, give us your closing.
Okay, so thank you, fellow Liberians. Look, as I said before, the problem we have in Liberia is not just somebody belonging to a particular party. Our problem is structure, infrastructure that everybody will go by. There is nothing in that country, from from Philly, from all other borders. There is no fighting chance. There is nothing in that country for any child together in the morning that if he or she did this, they will get this. That's my whole argument. I see people saying we are did well, Salif did well. That is not the problem. Where is the well? Where is the fighting chance for Liberian children? Where is the institution? Any child who get up today in Liberia, what are they supposed to do to move ahead? Where is the roadmap that they got? Somebody will say the government doesn't have money. I agree, but where is the opportunity?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jawinkin Wia. Mr. Sheriff, if you guys can do your closing in 1 minute, I appreciate that. Let's hear from Mr. Sheriff.
It is unfortunate that when we come to discuss, we are still discussing the progress of the CDC and not of the 42 years experienced man who received billions of dollars under, the presence of the international community. You see, today it is clear that Joseph Nyuma Boyka and his colleagues, they use rhetorics. Our Liberian people in the common way, they lie to the Liberian people. Like Isaac Doe will say, you use lies to get to power, but you don't use that lie to rule or to lead the people. Reality has steps in. To the extent that Mr. Boyka taking over as president of the Republic of Liberia, nobody on this platform can point to any tangible that he has done. The last time that we know that he made an attempt of $22 million to be able to, give us a pliable role, what did the architect or the man who is responsible to make sure that that project is implemented told the Liberian people at the House of Senate? He's sorry. The money, they misused the money. Senator said, we forgive you. Go. Honor the gabble of the rescue, so-called rescue mother. Say, you used $22 million. No problem. You good. Go. So Joseph Nyuma Boyka is an embodiment of corruption. It's an embodiment of bad governance. It's an embodiment of everything that resembles what we call autocracy. It's everything that resembles bad in Liberia. This man took over. His first agenda is to ensure that our people are unemployed. A massive unemployment spree has been carried on by this particular government. And it is sad that people who support this government, like the Honorable Bishop, someone who represents God on earth, someone who is a mediator, will not stay and speak against this thing. Today, there are Liberians that have been witch hunt by this government only because of their political affiliation. It is clear, and people will not condemn. Where are we going? We are going down the drain. As I speak to you today, look at Yusuf. Yusuf has cut down their funding to Liberia, all because they are seeing that Joseph Nyuma Boyka is drifting away from the path of democracy and good governance that they have created in that particular country. Today, Joseph Nyuma Boyka is doing dealings with what we call tourists. In the world, nations that people are afraid of today, our country is not taken over by drug zombie. This is concerning. These people run a campaign that they will eradicate drugs. Today, we are seeing drugs is being introduced. Few days ago, there was some $40 million drug that was arrested. Joseph Nyuma Boyka's son friend brought that particular drugs in the country. What are they doing to fight drugs? What are they doing to fight corruption? So to end, what we are saying is that those of you who support this government, it is about time, it is hard time that you begin to look in the faces of these people that you bring to power to tell them that there is a need for them to live according to what they told the people. In the absence of doing that, we will ensure that this particular government, led by an incompetent 42-year old man experience and 80-year-old president, we continue to put to the public, or we continue to expose this government. In the absence of you people not doing it, we will do it. And we want to thank God that we have credible people who are actually backing us in this to expose the incompetent, the corruption, and etc. of this particular government. Imagine just for a period of 9 months. Look at the level of stealing that has gone on. We are talking about billions just in 1 year. Look at the NEMO report. Yeah, to end. Look at NAMO report on this government. What did NAMO say about this government? Look at the report. The report is damaging. The report is denigrating. It's a report that when you look at the U.S. State Department, how you call investment climate report on Liberia. When you see that report, you want for the ground to open for you to go on it. It's a disgrace. And Joseph Nyuma Boyka must live up to the standard of what he promised. But again, he will not, because he has no achievement, or he has no record of achievement.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. Let's hear from you quickly, Bishop Hager.
Well, anyway, I just want to school Prince Sheriff that the data in the report were collected during the administration of corrupt George Weah. There is nowhere in the world that data is collected in the first 9 months of a ruling government.
No, it's false. It's misleading. I can show you tons of reports. It's misleading. What you are saying, I think it's misleading. For you to come here and say to the Liberian people on this unique platform that no report can be collected in 9 months, reports and data can even be collected in 1 month. In 1 month. No. But don't deceive our people. I'm listening, Bishop. I'm listening. But don't deceive our people. To tell our people that report and data cannot be collected in 9 months. 9 months is enough.
Not campaign time, guys.
No. But the reverend should not do this to us. He should not do this to us. It's unfortunate to tell us that no data can be collected within the period of 9 months. I'm listening, Bishop. I'm listening, but don't do that. Don't do that. You need to apologize for that particular statement. There is a need for you, Reverend. You need to apologize that data cannot be collected in 9 months. That data cannot be collected in 9 months, Bishop. You need to apologize to the Liberian people for that.
Talking nonsense.
You need to do that, Bishop.
Let's protect the bishop.
That data, no, but that data cannot be collected in 9 months. Is that what the bishop is telling us? The bishop, look, we are not fools on this platform. There are intellectual Liberians on this platform. This platform is widely listening to. This is unfair. This is unfair. That data cannot be collected in 9 months. We collect data even in 2 months, in 1 month. Look, Bishop, it is unfair. Apologize to the people that are here. Apologize and make your point. I get no problem. Apologize.
We're here on serious business. I am saying to you, Prince, I worked before in the international cycle. Nowhere in the world that data is collected in 9 month process, diagnosed and given in a report form.
It is false. It is false. It is false. I also did contract with international organizations. You understand? We collected data in that country in the period of 3 months. Listening, but don't we will not allow you to lay on the basis of falsehood. It will not work, Reverend Bishop. It can work. We will be doing injustice to God and man. We can't allow it. Reverend, no, we can do that, Bishop. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. We can't allow the bishop to lay on this particular, unfair sword. No.
I came here tonight. I came here tonight with one mission to debunk all your false we've been spreading all over the place.
No, but Bishop, the thing is for you to come and sit on this platform where you have intellectual, where you have people that are listening and say data cannot be collected in the period of 9 months, Bishop. No, Bishop, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is completely wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong.
But you can't give me chance.
This is wrong. No, but Bishop, but this is wrong. The first thing is, it is wrong for you to tell the Liberian people that data cannot be collected in the period of 9 months. Even our own elder here, Mr. Jah Winking Weah, will not agree with that. Even our own brother, Mr. Boda, will not even agree with that. That data cannot be collected in the period of 9 months. It's false. It's misleading. Mr. Boda may not agree with me in everything, but he will not agree to this. He can agree to this. That data cannot be collected in the period of 9 months? No, man. No. No.
Those of you watching us, we have the
No, Bishop. No, Bishop. No, Bishop. I wish you had come on soon. No, Bishop. No, Bishop. It's unfair. It's unfair. It's unfair, Bishop. It's unfair. It's unfair to Mr. Jah Winking Weah. It is unfair to Mr. Boda. It is unfair to our brothers on.
Liar. You keep lying to the Liberian.
Can we have a forum? Derek, can you control the program, guys?
Guys, this is it for the house. We'll be here next week, same time for episode 12 of season 6. Until then, make sure you get work, and we will see you.
You want to give an excuse for your government that data can be collected in the period of 9 months, and you have desperately performed? That you have desperately performed? No way, Bishop. No way. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, Bishop. It's unfair to the Liberian people who are listening. It is unfair, Bishop, to the Liberian people who are listening that you will come here and tell us that in the period of 9 months that we cannot have a data collected of this government. It is unfair, Bishop. It is unfair. It is unfair. It is unfair, Bishop.
Gucci, I love you for you. Don't play me, I can't body for you. I mess up my heart.